Hello? Well, I hope you're ready for another DIY. If you've been watching our channel very long, you know that we've been transitioning our interior style of our home to more of a farmhouse style appeal. And we haven't been in just a great big hurry. We've just been doing it and working on it over the past 2 years. Well, we're not far off from being completed. I'm on my next to last room, maybe, the guest bathroom. I had a beautiful iron shelving unit in that bathroom. Well, here, I put it downstairs in the basement. I'll show you a quick picture. Just don't pay attention to the mess behind it that needs to go to the antique store, my booth, which I haven't taken a bunch of stuff yet. Okay, you saw it. It's pretty. It could be classified as farmhouse. It's peeling paint, but it's a little bit too foo-foo-y for me for what I'm wanting to do. So I had this whole plan drawn out, showed it to Randy, and told him that I wanted to use, for the shelving part, I wanted to use some of the old barn wood that we had bought. You know, like a piece like this. I like this. It's got a live edge. It's very old looking, probably is very old, and it was perfect for what I wanted. Needless to say, he did not like that idea. He picked out pieces and said, look, these are rotten. We cannot use these. And in places it looks like termites have chewed it out. I do not want termites inside my house. If they're by chance any still in there. Personally, I thought you could see termites, but anyway. So he nixed that. You know I love my Randy. He does anything just about for me that he can. But he splits his time between pleasing me and challenging me. So we went round and round on this. He said, I want to use new wood, and you are the faux finisher. You're the one that taught all these people how to do all these different finishes. So, make the wood look old. You've done it before. So I'm going to show you today how I'm going to make it look old. Now last year about this time, we built a shelving unit out of an old door that I picked up at Habitat place for like 10 bucks. And we did use real barn wood for the shelves that stuck out from the door. But then the door was not wood. It was that faux grain looking plasticky stuff. So I had to make it look chunky and old. Now it's a different technique of barnwood texture than I'm doing on these shelves. These shelves are going to pretty much look more like this, with the cracking, broken looking grain. Now I will say this technique really works better if you're using a hardwood. And we're not. We're using pine. We bought two 10-inch by 6-foot long pieces of pine. I needed 6 2-foot shelves. And it was just easier to buy the 2 6-foot lengths instead of trucking home 1 12-foot length. So Randy cut all these little shelves for me, and he sanded and rounded and all that jazz. And said, see, now you're ready to stain. No, we're not ready to stain, because this looks like new wood, because it is new wood. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And pine, like I said, maybe I didn't say, this technique works better on hardwood, and this is not hardwood, it's pine, but I just have to be a little bit more careful. So, what I need for this is safety glasses. I just had them. Oh, safety glasses, gloves, and I don't have an angle grinder. Didn't really want to spend the money to buy an angle grinder because then this project just turns into a more expensive one. I was trying to make it cheap using the barnwood, but no. But I do have a few of these whatchamadoohickers that go in the drill. They're steel. I don't know what kind of steel. The gold colored kind of steel. And they will create some grain in your wood. So come closer and I'll show you what I'm doing. My drill is dying. Last board. The next step is to beat it up. You can use chain. I'll show you a couple of methods. You can use this old set of keys. I would still wear a gloved hand, especially if you use chain. But I just want to create divots and nicks here and there. I like using the keys because it gives a real random indentation look. You can use a hammer, but don't hammer with the tip like a hammer hole. You can just do like that or like that. Now, to make wormholes, when I taught my students faux finishing and we did wormholes, we actually used, you can use an awl, but we use these little things because I had a ton of them. They're actually pickers for picking stencils off of things. And when you do a wormhole, of course some of these could look like wormholes. Remember, a worm goes in, it has to come back out. So, for example, down here, I'm going to angle this direction. And I usually like to put 2 or 3 wormholes. Then I'm going to kind of follow my grain. And I need to find an exit for my worm. So I'm going to turn my dagger here the opposite direction. For worms to come out. I'm going to do this throughout. You can also use this to do a little bit of scratching. Again, an awl would work well too. And if you're having a rough day, taking your frustrations out on a piece of wood, throwing some keys at it, slapping it around. Guess who took both cobalt batteries with him today to the job in Florida? Oh well, I can only really do 2 boards at a time with these sawhorses set up like this, so hand sanding it is. Ugh. Just gonna use this old 60 grit. Ugh. I like to use a tack cloth to get all the sanding dust off prior to staining. Alright, the next thing I kind of want to decide is which is going to be the top side. The bottom sides will show as the shelves go up. They won't as the lower they are. But honestly, edges are going to be what mostly shows because things are going to be on the shelves. I really like the look of this. Although this one's nice too, right here on the end. Except the rest of it's kind of plain. I like that one better. Okay, let me go get my stuff ready and I'll show you the bow. Well, apparently my battery died and I thought I was filming all that time and I wasn't. But not to worry, because I still have the back side of my boards to do. So I will show you exactly what I'm doing. Here is what it looks like. I think it looks somewhat aged. And it'll make Randy happy because we're using new wood. So let me go over the things, the products that I am using. Now for this finish, I am using oil-based stains, but then I'm immediately going over it with a water-based paint that is thinned down quite a bit. You don't let the oil part dry. Actually, when you apply the water-based paint over the oil, it helps it to dry rapidly. And you do have to work kind of quickly because of that. So, the stains that I have, honestly, I would have liked to have had an oak color in here, but I thought I had it and I didn't. So, I'm using what I have. I've got 4 Minwax stains. This is Jacobine, which is pretty dark brown. A classic gray. Ebony, very little of that. Espresso. And then I have a Varathane carbon gray stain. In my little cup here, I have the Heritage Traditions chalk paint in their whiter tone. I can't remember the name of it, but it's their white one. And I mixed it pretty much 50-50 with water. And then I also have the lid to the chalk paint. I kind of just turned it upside down so I'd put a little bit of paint in my lid there, because that's the last thing we're going to add. Okay, get my brushes out here. I'm using standard shop rags, just cloth-like shop rags. I stuck my brushes down in mineral spirits, and honestly, if it's one of them, if it's a little wet, when I do the classic gray, it kind of smooths out some of these other stains, kind of blends them a little bit, and you get the lighter tones, like right here in this area. You get the lighter tones that way. So let me get all of these opened and change the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing. This is a fast finish. I mean, it literally does not take hardly any time to do, and it's very simple. All right, I'm gonna start with my carbon gray. This brush is pitiful. It wouldn't fit down in the jar I had, so I just kind of wiped it with mineral oil. It's a little stiff, it's a little cool this morning. But I'm just going to randomly apply. I'm just going to randomly apply some stain. Now, in the areas that I want to show up a little bit lighter, I'm using the classic gray, like around these knots. Just randomly putting it here and there. The Jacobine. This is the black, the ebony. Actually, this brush has so much mineral spirits in it, it's not showing up too much, but that's okay because it will keep it areas lighter. And then this is my espresso. Take this ebony brush now, just do a little bit of blending and making sure that all the little divots that I created with my keys have stain in them. Needs a little bit more. All right, and then I simply take one of these rags and wipe. All right, now I'm going to take my paint mix here. This brush doesn't actually fit down in here real well, but that's okay because I don't want a lot. I'm offloading. And with a very light touch, I'm going to start off the board. Make sure I extend to the edges a little bit too. check that, see if it did. Take my paper, whatever it is again, shop rag, and blend this in. Woo. And I'm pressing pretty hard. Now I'm going to take this brush, dip it in my can lid just a tiny, tiny little bit. And when you apply this, it's almost just like tickling the surface. It's very, very light. If you've ever given a butterfly kiss on your baby's cheek, a butterfly kiss is with your eyelashes. You barely feather touch it. You can start off the board, you can start barely hitting the surface. I don't have enough on there. Feather light. Now, if there's some place you don't particularly like it looks a little heavy right there, what I do then is just come back with one of the colors. I'm going to use the brown. And just kind of go over that. Any areas where you want to change the color a bit, you can just add another color in. Very lightly. And gently blend it in. That's it. How fast is that? Well, it's time to put our shelving unit together. And this is going to be a little bit like Tinker Toys. So, what I have bought, we are making a pipe shelf using gas, I guess it's gas line pipe and fittings. And go away, Cooper, go away. I don't want them painted. I really just want them to stay the color that they are. I've seen some people actually use like a lacquer spray paint on them, I guess to maybe keep them from rusting. I'm not sure that's necessary. What do you think, Randy?
Nah.
I don't think so. But anyway, they come wrapped in plastic, at least they do at Home Depot, which is nice because they're greasy. And you've got to get the grease off of them. And I'm using acetone to do that. I'm just going to wash a few right now though, because let's see where's my because we're going to have to take them in there and figure out exactly where in the board we need to drill our holes, because I don't want it butted right up against the baseboard. So we're going to have to play around with it a little bit. The bottom shelf has the flange, or whatever you call that, and then a 10-inch piece of pipe. The rest will have 12, but I wanted it a little bit lower, the first shelf a little bit lower to the ground, and so I decided on 10. We're going to take this in there and take a board in there, put this on the floor and against the wall, and we'll see where we need to drill our hole.
All you need is the metal piece. You don't need the board in there. You just put that against the wall and measure to the center of your pipe.
Okay. Let's go do it.
Let's go.
Okay, I have all the right parts now, and we have begun. At the bottom, at the base, what will sit on the floor is one of these things. I don't know what they're called. Round doohickeys. Then I have a 10-inch piece of pipe. I'm hoping this is going to work out because we have a wall switch on the wall there. And if a shelf or something interferes with us being able to work that wall switch, I'm going to have to adjust with different size pipe on the bottom. But next, we have the 10-inch pipe, and then one of these doohickeys. And then you insert this. And then you insert this and the next pipe. So I'll demonstrate.
It's good.
Pick out which side of the shelf I want to show. What do you think, Randy? This? Or this?
This.
This?
That will go up.
As you can see, there's just a tiny little bit of the thread. I may need to back that off some.
As long as you can grab thread, that's all you
grab it.
need. Just had to back it off a little bit. When you tighten down the top, it's going to tighten it all down.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to put this on the ground because we're about to get too tall. Alright, this next one though, it's going to be a little bit different because it's going to go to the back of the wall as an extra brace.
Tighten those down hard as you can tighten them. Turn everything.
Everything's turning. Now, we're going to do these. Just making sure I wanted this side, the back side. 6-inch pipe. And one of these discs. Tinker Toys. No, wait, is this next? Yeah, this is next. And if you're wondering why there's plastic on these,
Tape.
and if you're wondering why there's tape on these, it's because I don't want to scar this up, because I don't have any lacquer or anything on it. I don't want them to get scratched and start to rust. And the tape protects it from doing that. More rearranging. Put 6-inch pieces instead of the 12s at the bottom. Well, first we started with 10, then we went to 12, then we had to go to 6. So that the light switch would be right. And then Randy had done this wrong on the top. There was supposed to be some posts on the top. So instead of 6-inch, we got 10. And then the elbow, and then 6-inch going back in the flange. And he's out going to get drywall screws and mollies. And we've marked them. So now it will install, and then I get to decorate and play. This is a faux finish. Randy took the light down, so it's going to be hard to see. Maybe you can see it up here. This is a Marmarino plaster finish. I can get close. It's got wax on it. So, oop, I see a dust bunny I didn't get. Anyway, this is getting sanded. And then we're using a primer on it, and then just painting.